Hi, this video is going to focus on the sale by the Australian government of government-owned assets, which in reality, in my opinion, are owned by the Australian people, not by the Australian government. Now, the Australian government will argue that we're deeply in debt, which of course we are. We're $500 billion in debt, which is a scary amount of money. Add to that the fact that the Australian people are paying $1.5 billion every month in interest on the loans that we have. So we are in deep, deep trouble financially. However, I don't want to put forward answers to these questions. If somebody wants to know what I think, there's plenty of other opportunities where you can ask me questions and I'll answer them as best I can. But this video is meant to purely highlight the fact that we are selling assets that I believe belong to the Australian people to, in many cases, foreign business people and who are investors and or shareholders who've got one interest and one interest only, and that is to make more and more and more profit every year after year after year after year. That, to my way of thinking, changes the whole landscape of who Australia is, what we are and how we live our lives. What are today's children, tomorrow's grown-ups and Australian citizens, and their children and their children's children and so on, will have a vastly different life to what we have here in Australia at the moment. As I said, I'm not going to propose. I know it's not easy. I'm not saying for a moment that the government are being slack or lackadaisical. It is a difficult decision. I know that, but I do not believe anything is worth selling the lifestyle that has made us the envy of the rest of the world, the best place to live on the face of the earth. We must preserve it. There are ways that can be talked about. Unfortunately, it probably means that all of us as Australian people are going to have to take some knocks, if you can use that term. I mean, the fact is we're living beyond our means. When I won't talk politics, we were in credit. We owed nobody nothing. We're now $500 billion in debt. That means that we're living beyond our means, way beyond our means, and that has an implication for every single Australian, you, me and everybody else. I hope I've shown that I'm passionate about this. I don't believe we should be selling our assets. One final point that I'll make, if you're a bank manager, a financier, accountant or an astute business person, if you're that, I'm sure you'll agree with me. If you're not, please ask an astute business person, a bank manager, whatever. When a business, a family, an organisation or a country, in my opinion, begins to sell its assets, it is in deep, deep trouble. And very stringent business practices need to be put in place to reverse that trend. Please make yourself aware of the long-term effects of what we're doing, selling our assets. Please make yourself aware of it. There'll be plenty of opportunities to converse with the will of Australians, and I'm sure you'll hear my views as time goes along. Please make yourself aware of it and decide what you want to do about it as an Australian citizen. This is a transition from the previous video. This is a new video. I've just added this as a trailer in view of the Australia Post situation where Ahmed Fahur has resigned as the CEO, which I personally think is a great shame. I mean, Ahmed has obviously done an amazing job with Australia Post. He's beaten international competition of the best you can get. and I'm deeply stressed that he's chosen to resign, although I don't blame him, I must say. But my concern is, I've now seen it twice, where because the parcel post valuation has been built up from 1 billion to 5 billion, I've now seen it twice mentioned, oh Butte, let's sell it off. Well, I'm asking all Australians to think carefully about selling off these assets. In my view, it's insane. I know we're in deep trouble, but it's insane to sell these assets. Once they're gone forever, and we've got to pay for them forever and a day. Our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren will be paying for it, whereas we can own it and be making the profit ourselves. Please think about it carefully. If there's something you can do, I may have a survey that you can respond to. If there's something you can do, talk to your people, your family about it, talk to your local member about it, or whatever you can do. I do not believe we should be selling off Australia Post. That's all I've got to say. All the best for the moment. Bye.